See what happens. Got the hair down today. Feeling nice. The beard's getting almost too long. I kind of want to cut it, but it's so damn cold out here. Boy, I got to keep it as a scarf. That natural hitter scarf. You feel me? Well, let's get into it. Yo, yo, yo. Welcome to Living for a Living with your boy Joey Bradley. This is episode number 50.
Living for a living, baby. How you doing?
The big 5-0. We made it. Well, I made it. And the 17 or 18 people watching along, you guys made it too. I was shocked after last week's episode, solo one, that I got like 5, 6, 7 messages from like random girls. Well, not like random, I don't know them. I got 1 or 2 randoms. But a few like I know from way back in the day that I haven't talked to or had no clue was even consuming my content. And they enjoyed my relationship talk. And I guess anytime you start talking about soulmates and that kind of stuff, and throw little horoscopes in there, and that just gets the girls to watch. But no, all jokes aside, I'm glad. I didn't know girls were even really watching besides my mom occasionally. So I'm happy to know that. I don't know what the hell my demographic is for this podcast, because I normally, I think, alienate myself within every demographic at some point. I know I have listeners kind of like all over, from Czech Republic to Poland to Portugal to California to Seattle to Florida to, I'm sure there's a couple of you out there in Nepal, so what's up to you? Yeah, I don't know what it is, but I think it's cool. I'm going to go out on a limb and say I think I might have the most diverse group of supporters from people that message me. Democrat, Republican, although not, I don't know. Yeah, but not too many people I'd say that identify with that, because, yeah, but still, I think so. White, black, Polish, Mexican, my dude Paco out there. So no, it's cool. It's cool. I'm just kind of reflecting on episode number 50 right now of kind of how far it's came. I'm starting to almost like these solo episodes a little bit better than the guest ones at times, just because, I think with the guest ones, I just need to like continue to be myself, and like, I think I sometimes get self-conscious about like hurting other people's feelings that I'm talking to, and so maybe I don't ask like the full question or like fully dig into something I want to know. So I got to just keep working on it. Just how continued to work on this, talking to myself. I got the compliment from a homie that was like, dude, you're pretty good at just like talking to yourself for an hour. And I make the joke that, man, I do it whether there's a camera and a microphone in here or not. So I've had a lot of practice. But with all that said, I've kind of gone away from it a little bit the last, few episodes. But I'd love to start getting some more questions or like video messages or voice messages or whatever that like we listen to on the episode, whether it be a question or a topic or something that's on your mind, or whatever it may be. That shit was getting kind of fun. It wasn't happening super frequently, but it stopped because I kind of stopped asking for it, stopped thinking about it. So closed mouths don't get fed, as we like to say. So yeah, if you wanted to send out a message, whatever it may be, Instagram, or actually WhatsApp's the best. +1 425 443 6928. I'd very much appreciate that, and we'll throw it on here. And I think that's kind of cool. I'd like to maybe, as I mentioned, I don't know what the demographic is, and so like being able to get perspectives from literally all over about stuff would just be kind of a cool thing that I don't know, I haven't really seen. So yeah, do that, please, and thank you. And thanks for supporting so far. Episode 50. I think I've put a lot of little pressure on myself for this episode 50 for some arbitrary number. I don't know what to talk about, actually. I mean, I do. I trying to kind of get more just into like my life and my thoughts rather than talking about the political shit, with the storming of the Capitol and everything. I'm like 2 weeks late on it now anyway, so pretty much everyone's already forgotten. Although Finland last night, I was at my coach's house last night, and they have like a Saturday Night Live kind of spin-off show, and they're already making fun of that. Like rightfully so. Like I'm all for protests and like revolutions or whatever, but it's just the hypocrisy from both sides now, that whether it now be the Black Lives Matter ones or this, storming of the Capitol bullshit, like it's just like there's no plan. And so that's why I can't get behind it. Like what was the plan? That the people were just going to go in there and like take over, and the government's going to be like, "Oh, okay, sorry, you win. Trump will stay president." Like what was the plan? There was none. Same shit with the Black Lives Matter. So like, we're protesting for awareness. Like, motherfucker, we know. People are aware. Like, we get it. What's the next step after awareness? Like, how are we moving things forward? And same shit with this Capitol stuff. It's like, but the hypocrisy is just hilarious because, the right was very condemning of the left for doing all the Black Lives Matter stuff and saying, that's not the right way and you don't need to do this and blah, blah, blah. And now they support protests themselves, and same vice versa works for the Black Lives Matter. So we need to, in the media, of course, because the media is all on the left, but we need to, protesting doesn't need to be civil and da-da-da-da-da. And then the same people are like pointing the finger at the how could they do this to democracy and they're terrorists. It's like, what? What were the people who literally took over blocks of Seattle and created borders? What were they? Change agents? Yeah, a lot fucking changed in Seattle, let me tell you. I got a Snapchat from one of my homies 2 days ago of literally homeless people on the corner in Capitol Hill with a bonfire going, like in the heart of the city. It's like, bring about that change, baby. I also heard Seattle's like trying to pass some new law that like makes it legal or not illegal for like homeless people to steal or something like that. It's like, oh, in 2075, when the West Coast is just dystopian wasteland that's like from the movies, don't ask why. Let's put it that way. But no, just the hypocrisy is just fucking madness. I'm excited though. It's January 17th right now. Trump will be gone in a few days, which like, I don't care. I've said before, like Trump is, I almost used to like kind of think Trump was non-establishment, like not part of the system, saving the children, like I kind of did for a little while, to be honest. But now, after seeing how everything's gone, he's just another cog in the system. And so I'm just like happy for him to be gone, because like it will give the media nobody to blame, and like we'll have to, I'm sure we won't look in the mirror as a country, but like theoretically speaking, that should be the next step. And so like the left and all the people in the media and the loudest people like won't have this like villain to constantly blame like they did Trump, although I'm sure they're gonna like continue to blame him even after he's gone. Like in 10 years, Trump's going to maybe turn into the guy in 1984 that is like the traitor of the party. Maybe, I don't know. It would actually make sense. Like if you read 1984, they have like a 2 minutes of hate every day that plays on the TVs. And you should really read that book. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I'm some scholar that reads a lot, but that book has been like eye opening just in terms of what's going on. Even though it's fiction, like it's based on a lot of like realistic ideas, I guess. I don't know how to say. Like Orwell was incredibly smart dude. I've read a couple other things by him. Not to toot my own horn, but they have this 2 minutes of speech thing where this guy, the traitor of the party, comes on TV and like people just like lose their shit and yell and stomp and scream, and it literally sounds like the like blue-haired non-binary person that you see on YouTube like screaming at the top of her lungs over something, like over it's rape. I don't even know what, but like it's you read it and you can like think of these things in at least American culture that like it's very similar. And so maybe Trump will turn into that guy. I don't know. But boy, I'm glad for him to be. I think, like I said, he's just another cog in the system. I don't know, maybe if the global elites, which I totally kind of believe in, wanted him to win necessarily. I don't know. This is where my theory. I don't have it bulletproof yet, but I don't know if like they truly wanted him to win against Hillary. But once he did win, it was like, okay, how can we use this to our advantage to the most? And I mean, just the amount of like emotional irrationality that's been created over the last 4 years, and primarily because of him, is insane, and it's been all through the media because that's just what's pushed every day. The whole, like, whatever the saying is, like, you control the narrative, like you have the power. And so, I mean, there's just every angle you can look at right now in societies all over the world. Like, you control the narrative, like you control the people. And I was talking last night with some Finnish friends, and he was like, man, just your country's not doing very good. I'm like, yeah, I know. I mean, we haven't been doing very good. Like, it's just all like coming to light now. And, there's so many issues, but like we're not super educated, and not saying like we're not intelligent, because I think Americans, it's probably IQ levels are just the same as everywhere else, but not very educated in terms of like first our own history. Because talking about American history, I can remember in high school, middle school, we learned more about like Japan. What was it? Warlords of Japan or whatever the hell. Like there was some game with thumbtacks we used to play, and that shit was dope. Like I loved that game. I forget what it was called. Someone tell me what that game's called, because I know someone else remembers that. But we spent more time on like the Chinese dynasties of BC times and than we did on our own American history. And so like if you're not aware of history, especially your own, like you're bound to repeat it. And there's what they're trying to change textbooks and stuff, talking about how like slavery and slaves were like workers, like non-paid workers or guests, or like just the entire way that the US came to be, just one, wasn't really gone over very well, and then two, like I can remember in high school, like American history, you start, at the very, very beginning. And so you kind of spend a little bit of time on like the colonies and like that kind of stuff. But again, you don't get into like slavery at all. And then just the way that school works, we don't get enough time to actually finish it. And so you finish off history at like 1910 before the World Wars started. And then you don't even get, I mean, the I don't know. And so we just, one, we're uneducated about ourselves for majority speaking. And then two, we've been like, I don't know if the right word, radicalized, propagandized by the media more so than a lot of places, which are due to a lot of things, but the two main cases or whatever is the Smith-Mund Act of 2012, which Obama passed, which is like essentially like legalized propaganda again. And then the Fox News versus Jane Acri case, which basically that was like around 2000, which basically just like made it legal for the media to knowingly lie and mislead the public. So you take those two things into consideration, which a lot of people don't even know about. They still think like, well, the news is telling me the truth. And it's like, no, the news is it's a story. It's reality TV. It's polarizing. They're trying to get ratings. There's commercials, where it's different here in Finland, but that's not the point. And so you combine like those two things, and then we haven't, like, this has been, again, generally speaking, one of the most peaceful times worldwide ever in terms of like big, huge wars. I know there's been little conflicts, with in Yugoslavia or former Yugoslavian countries, in Asia as well, Africa. There's. I'm not saying it's been 100% peaceful, but just like overall compared to, since World War II ended, like there hasn't. We've had the U.S. We've just had unsuccessful wars of Vietnam, Afghanistan, or Iraq, or Iran, or Syria, or you don't really know. It's just ever changing, kind of like 1984. It just changes on the drop of the hat. There's some new terrorist. There's some new group that we need to stop. There's some new country we need to bring democracy to. And so I don't know what'll change it. We were talking last night that maybe like it's going to take like a World War III, and in order for like people to snap back into true reality, because I can only really speak, but I think it goes for a lot of people. I don't think many people have an understanding of any of this shit that I'm talking about, and realize like how good we have it overall, and the problems that we create in order to create a problem, to be mad about something. At this point now, like fear, like some people like enjoy being fearful. Like it's become a part of their identity, and they'll look for it in any way, shape, or form they can get. With the government, with the opposition side. It's it's out there, and it's interesting, and it's more so in the States because the way our political system's set up with just two parties. One of my buddies last night was like, I'm not like a big political guy, but like, it's hard for me to support somebody here in Finland and there's like 8 choices or whatever, because like I don't agree with them on every little issue, on every issue. And so I might not exactly, and I was just kind of like laughed, and I was like, yeah, most people in the States don't even know what the issues are, or what they're like. They've just been, whether it be from their parents or their culture or their neighborhood or brainwashing, like they just pick a side and support it blindly. and then identify with it. Or then they have one issue that's just like super hot to them, whether it be gun rights or abortion or immigration or, whatever it may be. And they figure out, okay, that my side, the Democrats will allow abortion and the Republicans don't want it, so I'm a Democrat or I'm a Republican, one of the two things. And then they don't even think about anything else. And so that's just a like recipe for disaster. And something else that was said, I know I started this with like, I'm not going to talk about politics, but I don't think I'm really talking about politics, really. I'm talking more about mindsets. Is like, my Finnish friends were explaining that like they're almost worried about Finnish politics in a way because things have been so good. And I think this is similar for the States, but we're maybe just like a little bit ahead kind of on this timeline. But like things have been so good that it hasn't really like forced like smart people or like courageous people or like real motherfuckers into politics. It seems like I don't know American politics enough, but like from what I hear, a lot of people who know more than me, like JFK was like one of the last real motherfuckers in presidency. And you see what happens to him. And so like this, because things have been going so well and like the issues are all these little bullshit issues that people want to argue about, it's created politicians that are just kind of bullshitters themselves. And so we're like continually being led by bullshitters, and like the cycle, we're in this like cycle now, and it'll take something big in order to like break the cycle. So yeah, that was a nice little 20-minute rant to start the day, start the episode. But it's interesting, man. All of this kind of was brought up on the storm in the Capitol thing, which like it's just conspiracy theorist in me. Like that was pretty easy to get into a Capitol building, wasn't it? I mean, and the dude with the fur and like I don't know. It's just that seemed a little fishy. I think. Conspiracy theory alert. I think that the Capitol building storming is going to be like essentially like the new 9/11 of like false flag narrative. Some laws are going to be passed very quickly and very sneakily in order to stop that from happening again. 9/11 was a fucking hoax, by the way. That one, just I've said this before on the podcast, but any non-American person I talk to, almost 100% will say that that's a hoax and that was a setup, just for anybody who thinks two planes made the towers fall. And no planes made this World Trade Center 7 fall. Yeah, but that's a whole nother thing. But this I think will kind of go into that same category, and then I'll get called crazy and stupid and conspiratorial, which is whatever. That's fine. But like, just think about on that kind of same 9/11 to the storming of the Capitol, and like both people now are terrorists, right? And like, imagine being like ISIS and hearing like these domestic terrorists like storm the Capitol, and like, okay, what? They killed some people? Like, no. They destroyed the building? No. What'd they do? They farted in Nancy Pelosi's chair and they smeared some shit around the bathroom. It's like the guy who flew the plane into the Twin Towers is now also in the same terrorist box as the guy who farted in Nancy Pelosi's chair. That one's a funny one to me. Like, that dude's rolling over in his grave. I don't mean to laugh at either things, you know what I'm saying, but it is kind of funny to me. Just imagine. Yeah. What they do? They like thinking they're like part of the same team. It's like, no, he just farted in the chair. There was some like weird like voice actor guy with like a Viking helmet and a bear fur on, shirtless, and he got arrested. But he killed somebody? No, no. Oh, okay. So wait, but they're the same as us now? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, okay. That's just like the thing with when you like overuse language or like call everything something, it like takes its strength away. You know, I think that's happened a lot with like the word racism and racist and calling people racists for every little teeny thing. And listen, I'm not saying that there's not racism, there's not racists out there. There fucking for sure is. But like when you call every little thing, oh, he looked at me funny, so he's a racist. And he did, you know, every little thing becomes racism and racist. Then and it groups everybody into the same little category. It makes the true racist motherfuckers like not as a big deal, because if like boop, 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 all these other little instances are racist, and now you're using the same word for someone who like kills somebody because of their skin color, which is truly racist. It like it desensitizes the word. And I mean, I don't know, maybe this isn't an accurate comparison, but like the way that like rap culture has made like the N-word cool in the, you know, it's totally like opposite ends of the spectrum, but like it used to be and still can be used as a word of like hate. And you know, like it's, I'm not a huge fan of the word, to be honest. I've been given the pass throughout my college career and never cashed in on the pass because it's just not my thing. I guess if I'm rapping to a song alone in the car, it depends on the song, I will say, but I'm even then I try to avoid it. But occasionally, like, there's a couple songs where it just, I got to be alone, windows up, you know, but but anyway, like that, through culture, it's like taken some of the power away from the word. And I mean, that is like I don't know if it's actually good in the long run, but I think compared to this racist and terrorist analogy or comparison, it's a good thing. But that's just an example in my mind. And maybe I'm wrong. Let me know if you disagree. But no, I mean, it's crazy, bro. It's crazy. And the other thing that I've realized with this whole situation, and now getting a little more hippie with it, is, you know, everything is only energy. Peace, man. Everything's energy, brah. But what I mean is like nowadays it feels like a lot of people feel much more strongly about shit that they don't like than they do, like, you know, they feel negative emotions and very strong negative feelings towards things they don't like rather than positive emotions towards things they do like and they do love. And so like just the way that like energy works and attracts and vibrations and all these things, like ultimately you're going to like become or obtain or attract like what you put your energy towards. And so if you are constantly putting more energy towards something negative that you don't like rather than something positive that you do like, you're going to eventually become the thing you hate. Just simply by like the formula of this. I need to put like the little Zach Galifianakis thinking formula thing. Because there's not like some real formula. Maybe there is. I'm sure. Who knows? And you see it happening with, you know, the hypocrisy and like the flopping of the left and the right in the US, because the media knows this shit and like knows how to change your beliefs and kind of program you. It's TV programming for a reason, and get you into these thoughts, and ultimately then whatever you think you're right, and that's going to become your reality. And so, you know, the funny thing this week, not funny, you know what I mean, with Trump being banned from Twitter and Facebook and all of these things, you know, Americans have loved to McGregor walk around and pat ourselves on the back that we're so free, and love to talk down to like China and, oh, the Chinese government doesn't allow its citizens to use Facebook and blah blah blah, and they can't use all these websites. And well, look what we're becoming. You can't get Parler, the app now, which like I have Parler, but it's like I wasn't really it intrigued me from like the free speech perspective. But it's like, it's just funny to me. And, you know, they're saying that Trump incited these things and all this stuff. And dude, he's a fucking idiot. And people, whatever, maybe he did. If you believe he did, then you're right. He did. I don't personally believe he did, so I'm right too. But like, okay, we're going to censor Trump. And meanwhile, there's like porn, and like you could search right now on Twitter porn or like blowjob, and you're going to see a big dick on Twitter. You know, so like Trump's what we need to censor. I mean, there's like, I don't know. It's just a interesting and the slippery slope, and it just kind of shows like, and they say, well, big tech, it's a private company, so they can do what they want. You can create your own app, create your own thing. Parler did it, motherfucker. It got censored. Oh, well then create your own hosting platform. It's like, what? Like, and then another funny thing about the censoring is somewhere in I think North Idaho I saw, which like I know there's like maybe 15 people there, same amount of people that listen to this podcast. They what'd they do? Oh, because Twitter and Facebook censored Mr. Trump, a service provider in North Idaho decided that they were not going to allow their users to use Instagram or Twitter and Facebook. So it's like, haha, we see you're censoring and we raise you some more censoring. And that's just like this thing of like becoming what you hate. Twitter had some other ironic post too, talking like with the Ugandan, there's some like Ugandan election going on right now. I don't really know exactly. I've just seen this on Twitter. And saying how like Twitter's like, we don't believe in like silencing people, and we want to, I forget what their words are, because I don't know if Uganda they made it so that like Facebook and Twitter, I don't, there's something like, and so like Twitter responded by saying like, we don't believe in silencing people and da 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 da. Like, meanwhile, the day before they silenced Trump, and like, huh? I mean, Twitter does some weird shit. Like, all of the big tech is doing some weird stuff. And my buddy Craig Conant said on his podcast, or his like girls podcast, I forget which one, like, and this is totally off on another tangent, but like the dancing robots and shit that are coming out, and like, man, robots, this is not a good idea, bro. I don't know. I feel like we're just in the very beginning of some scary movie that's going to happen in like 2060. But yeah, I think that's good, right? For, yeah. Speaking of dicks, there's my transition. Like here in Finland, like the locker room culture, or just like, I don't know how to, like, nakedness in general is just like way more normal or like accepted or something. Like the whole sauna culture, like you just get in the sauna completely naked with strangers. Which I guess in some other European countries, like that's kind of normal also. But from the American perspective, it's like not normal at all. And so like in locker rooms and stuff, and like the shower, like everyone uses like the public showers in the locker rooms and the gyms and swimming halls here. And it's just a weird thing to me to think about, because like the US, I feel like we over sexualize everything. You know, whether the Instagram, TikTokers, all that social media shit is like, that's what it's all about, is ass and tits for the most part, and like body and skin and showing, like that's a for sure way to sell something. And then we push, I mean, not put, but like the porn industry, OnlyFans, like all these things are like so part of culture, which isn't so much the case out here. But like then nobody will shower naked, like in the same, like all, you know, you go to like a Gold's Gym in the States, and like all the shower stalls are separated. And so it's like it's all in our face constantly, but then we're supposed to suppress these emotions. And I don't know if I'm expressing this in the exact right way of how my mind's thinking about it, but that suppression then I think like ultimately like really creates the creepy motherfuckers who have to suppress and suppress and suppress, and then fucking eventually like the tank overflows and they can't suppress some shit, and they start, you know, just whacking off and outside of a sorority. But it's just been interesting to me, like the difference in cultures here and there, with like the gym culture of nakedness, and like, you know, there's like, I don't, if it's like I feel creepy talking, like, even though it's just what I'm observing and experiencing, but it's, you know, like dads who bring their kids to the gym, like everyone's all showering together, not like, I don't know, it sounds, I feel weird talking about it, but it's what's fucking happening. But I'm just saying it feels weird. I guess it wouldn't be weird at all for Finnish people. You know, they grow up, like my buddy was saying, like getting in the sauna with everybody in the family, and you're naked, and whether it be opposite sex or not. But for me, like, just because of what's been ingrained and programmed into me, and I'm not saying one's right or wrong, it feels weird to talk about it. And so, yeah, that's just like something I've noticed, that I, you know, compare the cultures, and there's a definite difference with the like just idea of sexuality. And yeah. I don't know what it is, but 2 days ago at the gym, like it's kind of Finnish culture to like not really just like strike up random conversations with people. And I like to do that, not in the locker room. And although actually, speaking of that, to tell a story first is when we get done with practice on Tuesdays, there's a floorball team that also gets done with practice at the same time as us. And floorball's like indoor hockey for people who don't know, except you run, there's no skates involved. It's kind of weird, to be honest. Finland and Sweden are the best at it in the world always because nobody else fucking plays it. But there's a dude, one of the goalies he like dresses next to me. And so one day I just randomly was like, yo, how many goals you give up today? And he's like shocked that I just talked to him, like he's expecting nobody to talk to him. And he's like, like 4. I'm like, is that good? I don't know I was like, what's a normal score? He's like, like 3 to 8 or something like that. I was like, oh, okay, so you're pretty good. He's like, yeah. And so now like every Tuesday I see this guy and I just strike up a conversation with him. And I think he actually deep down likes it because he could put his shit in a different part of the locker room and I wouldn't be getting dressed, like he knows and so my homie Yoel, the goalie. And so anyway, like, as I said, I strike up random conversations with people, but that's not a normal like Finnish thing to do. And so, I've been shocked though, like on Friday at the gym, I had like 3 or 4 people just randomly start talking to me, and they start talking to me in Finnish and I have to say, oh, I'm sorry, I don't speak Finnish. And then they go right into it. And the one guy getting in the hot tub, he's like, yeah, I said something like, oh, sorry. I like your tattoo. And we started talking. And like this guy wanted to fucking talk. He needed somebody to talk to. I was kind of in a hurry. He wanted to, he somehow diverted the conversation into like rich versus poor kind of stuff. And I'm all for random. I didn't need to play therapist for some random guy. But where are you from? I said, the United States. He's like, oh, okay. He's like, what? Are you here for vacation? It's like, bro, what? Yeah, I came to Kuopio, Finland in mid-January while it's negative 30 for vacation during COVID. Yeah, that's like, what? But I've had a few people ask me that when they find out I'm from, oh, are you here for vacation? Like, what the fuck are you thinking? Yep, that's what I'm doing. I'm here for vacation. I mean, in a way, I kind of am. I feel like I'm always on vacation. It's kind of my little lifestyle I'm trying to live. I'd rather be on vacation 50 weeks out of the year and have to work 2 than the opposite. You feel me? And that's how I've kind of taken my approach to life. And I mean, getting back into the energy kind of stuff, it's like, whatever you believe, man, you're right. Like straight up, whatever you believe, you're right. And I'm doing, that's today actually. I'm doing a little workshop video. It might be next week actually. About like how we come to generating our beliefs and then like how to change them. And that's like such a powerful thing. Like I spoke about the mindset of abundance versus scarcity. And I'm still like struggling or working on it, I should say. But I'm getting it. And yeah, but I mean, that's why like I'm just done arguing with people to the max. Like, I mean, there's a difference between discussing things and like arguing, and because no one's like really gonna change their minds. I've realized, I think, myself like included. I mean, I will. presented new information and new ideas. But for the most part, I would say I'm in a minority with that. Not to like make myself sound fucking cool, because I'm stupid in a lot of fucking ways. But arguing with somebody just has no point. And so I'll every now and then get somebody. I posted the hypocrisy thing, kind of what I alluded to about the storming of the Capitol thing. And I had someone on both the right and left, because people want to take offense with everything. And so the person on the left like views me as someone on the right, and the person on the right views me as someone on the left, and like someone to conflict with. And, send along that, well, the person on the left, well, they're not really comparable because of, well, da-da-da-da-da, this is threatening democracy, and I just, like, long-ass thing. I just said, okay. Exit. Same thing. Person on the right was like, well, I mean, they had reason because the election's rigged and da-da-da-da-da. I said, okay. Yeah. Okay. I mean, it is what it is. And like me getting into some discussion, or that's not even a discussion, because those people they're telling me their position, and like giving the reasons of why I feel strongly. Oh, okay. Thanks for telling me. Bye. Oh boy. Oh, that coffee is cold. But I think that's what we got for today. Episode 50. We're at the 50-minute mark. Well, no, because I bullshitted in the beginning. 45-minute mark. Get those calls in. I know there's maybe of the 20 people. Well, no, I've been looking at like channel analytics a little bit more lately, and I'm feeling positive. Like, even though I'm getting less views, I'm getting longer viewer retention. Maybe. Actually, I don't know now that I think about it. But, of like, basically I'm getting less views, but for that people are staying to the end longer, which just means I think like I'm getting more people dedicated. I'm not just getting just random. I don't know what generates a view on YouTube. If you just click it and it starts and then you exit out, like that's a view. And so, yeah, I don't know what the fuck I'm even saying that for, but thanks for listening all the way through. Send me a question, send me a comment, send me something. What's on your mind? How are you doing with COVID, with politics, with culture, with whatever the hell's going on wherever the hell you are? How are you doing? Let me know. I'd be curious to hear. And I think other people would be curious to hear too. Good or bad, right or wrong. There's not really a wrong how you're feeling. That's you. So how you doing? Let me know. And thanks for joining along. Episode 50. We got another 50 in us at least. You feel me? Gonna have my buddy this week on, Rob Tremonti, who's done like a really good job. He has like 100,000 followers on TikTok. Like, he's killing his game TikTok wise and doing the gaming thing on Twitch. And I'm interested to kind of talk to him. We've played against each other like since like Little League baseball and football, played against each other in the state championship. He's a cool motherfucker and like definitely is doing what he wants. Started his own clothing brand at one point. So we'll have him on Wednesday. Yeah. Stay tuned for that. That'll be 51. And that's all we got. I'll shut up. Go enjoy my Sunday. You go enjoy your whatever day this is you're watching. And until next time, peace and much love. Holla.
Living for a living, baby. How you doing?